Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking out this episode of Really Dicey. This is Manny, and I'm here with Chris Haskins, CEO of Nord Games. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.
Thanks for having me.
And today we're going to talk about your latest project, which is currently on Kickstarter, Dangerous Destinations. What can you tell us about this?
Dangerous Destinations, the tagline is the definitive guide for creating interesting and dynamic destinations for storytelling and fantasy role-playing games. What that means to you as a creator is that this book has everything you need to create places that the adventures may take place or the heroes of the story may find along their way. So it can be very, very simple. It can be something as simple as they stop to camp, and in the forest nearby, there's something going on. There's some sort of danger that is present there. And it goes beyond things like just random monster encounters and stuff. It establishes the destination first. What type of destination is it? And there's 12 different categories of the destination type. And then it establishes the environment that it exists in. And there's 12 different environments, as with standard fantasy role-playing games. And then there are 6 danger categories. And these can range from bestial monsters, intelligent monsters, humanoids, events, magic, items, all kinds of different things can present a danger to you. So this can be something that you use while you're setting up your game. It can be used on the fly. There's lots of different ways that someone could use the resources in this book. So that's the gist of it.
Okay. And this is predominantly for 5e D&D?
No, it's system neutral. You can use it for anything. So any fantasy themed role-playing game, or even storytelling. Like let's say you're writing a story and you want to be inspired. You're writing a fantasy themed adventure novel or short story, and you need a place that the heroes are going to find along the way, or where the actual climax of the story takes place. So this book is good for anything in between. You've got like I said, things super simple or extremely complex if you want. So okay. It scales quite well to anything, and there's no party level requirement or anything like that. It's literally it's adding story elements that can be scaled to any size and any difficulty.
Okay, and it sounds like the setting ranges from forests to castles to dungeons.
Yes. Yeah. So as far as the locations are concerned, it might be burial sites, religious sites, settlements. So settlements include things as small as a trading post and as big as a city. And then environments are the 12 standard environments. So you've got your mountains, you've got your tundra, you've got your plains, forests, jungle, all that stuff. So you got a lot of options. And if you just broke it down and thought, well, if I rolled at the very beginning on a D12 to determine the destination type, roll the D12 to determine the environment it's in, and roll the D6 to determine the danger. And then each one of those categories has huge number of rolls, tables, and things you can select from. Inside of them, the variables are extreme. I'm not sure the math on it at this point in time, but I would say that it's in the tens or hundreds of thousands of different combinations that can be created. But that's just a jumping off point. From there, you get to decide the rest of the details, how you want to integrate this into your adventure and how the players might interact with it.
Oh, okay. How many pages do you hope the book to be?
Well, this is a follow-up to Spectacular Settlements, which was 480 pages. So we expect it to be around the same amount. So we launched about 24 hours ago, and we obliterated all of our stretch goals. So the book is going to get all the content that was being added by those stretch goals. So that content, I was on with my lead designer earlier today, and we estimated that content was 144 pages minimum. And it could go up to potentially double that, just in the stretch goal, the stretch goals that we unlocked. And that was before those stretch goals are after the actual builder, which is already, at least 100 pages as far as I know. So we're looking at a page count of 300 to 400, maybe even more than 400. So because the pre-generated destinations will have overviews about them, they won't just be like a stat block. It'll be a whole fleshing out of what's there and what's going on there, because the outcomes that you roll or pick have a short description on each one of them, but the actual overview and exposition will all be written up and put in there. Plus there's going to be a piece of artwork and a map of the location too. So all that takes up more and more space. So expect each one of those pre-generated to be at least 2 pages, maybe 3 or maybe even 4 for the most complex ones.
So let's talk about the art a little bit. Nord Games has already put out fantastic art for their products. What directions did you go for this book?
So Ralph Stickley is in charge of art. He's our art director, and he has a whole group of artists that he works with. They're all over the globe, really. Our cover artist, Karen, we originally, I think that was one of the first pieces that we had discussed, and we knew that we wanted something that was, and that's the piece that's behind you right now, and that's the piece that's on the main page for the Kickstarter. But we knew we wanted something that was going to be evocative, something that would like put you right there in the scene. And so you can almost imagine that you're another party member behind this paladin as she's approaching, or she's going at it alone and you're just there, with her at this moment that she's encountering this cult that's trying to summon some demon. And we really thought about what are some pieces that will be evocative and really put you in that scene. And we try to make sure that each piece that we do has the party in it in one way or another, a party member or the whole party, and really inspire you to understand things like the scale of the scene. So our environment piece, for example, is the party making their way along this craggy sort of a bridge, land bridge that goes out to a piece of rock out in the ocean that has some sort of old ruins and stuff on it. So we wanted that element of understanding that like that could be us, and that put us in that scene, and there's the clear danger of falling off this cliff or a big rogue wave coming and washing us all off. And it's a very every piece that we are producing for this book really does a great job to set the tone for what you might be getting yourself into. And so we are always inspired by a myriad of different sources. Mostly I like action oriented pieces where even though it's a still image, you can imagine things that are moving if this were a video. And so on the environment piece, you can imagine those waves crashing up against the rocks. In the piece you've got right there, you can imagine that flame just moving around a little bit. You can imagine the knolls starting to come closer to you. There's a lot of things that we try to make sure that our pieces feel dynamic and feel action oriented whenever possible.
Okay, excellent. So just so our viewers are clear, because I might have muddled a little bit with my questioning. This book is a book that gives you a lot of different settings and adventure paths in a sense, so that if which happens, we all go on tangents, not just in video games, but our adventures do go on tangents. So this is a great book so that if game masters are not sure where to take their players, this book gives you tons of options of where you can lead. It
can be used on the fly. It could also be intentional. You could have set it up in advance. I really have this great idea, but I don't have all the details, and I like to flesh those out more and more. And some people may have had this, let's say with settlements, you had this place for years that you guys go and have adventures and stuff in, and you thought you knew all the details about it, and then you get settlements and you realize there's so many other things that you never thought about. What is the leadership like? What is the security like? Are there any what's the industry like? Are there any specific things that they're known for? So that's where Settlements really brought in a lot of those extra details. Dangerous Destinations does the same thing, and instead of just creating, let's say, wandering monster encounters, you can create a whole reason for the wandering monster encounter. There's a lot more story driving the actions of the non-player characters, the monsters, and there's a whole environment that's happening regardless of the player's interaction or not. And that's what really is key to creating a more immersive world, in our opinion, because once the players realize that things exist in this world, regardless of whether they were here to see it or not, that makes them feel much more engaged, in my experience. And anything that we can do as publishers to put those sorts of tools into the hands of the game masters, we're going to do it.
Is there anything else outside of the Kickstarter that's being out right now? Is there anything else you might be planning on and working on in the near future?
So fans of the Ultimate Bestiary series or the Ultimate NPC series or the Heroes of High Fantasy series, all of those are currently being added to. So more and more books are being worked on for each one of those. So yeah, all good news for anybody who's a fan of that kind of content that we've been putting out. We've also been working on a few new deck products, but right now is books are the main focus. And yeah, lots going on right now. So stay tuned.
Excellent. Well, before we end the video, for people that want to know more about either the Kickstarter or anything Nord in particular, where can they go online?
So NordGamesLLC.com is where you want to go. And if you go to Kickstarter right now, we are one of the top trending projects on the homepage. We did get the award of Projects We Love by Kickstarter, which is huge. So that has definitely gotten us a lot of exposure. So yeah, going to Kickstarter and just look up Nord Games or Dangerous Destinations, you'll find the project, and just going online to NordGamesLLC.com and you'll find the rest of our products and everything about us.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about this. I'm really excited about your book. All your books have been fantastic. And I asked my viewers, yeah, definitely. I'll put the link in the description below. Check it out. You'll not be disappointed. Their books are great. And yes, please be safe out there and have a good day, everyone.
Happy gaming, everybody.